Welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real metaphysical and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. Everybody, it is the holidays. As I'm recording this, we are coming up on Christmas. I think it's like December 15th, if I remember correctly. Um, so I will have this posted to YouTube and Rumble very, very, very near to New Year's, if not just a little after. But with New Year's and Rumble coming up, we're all trying to work to improve ourselves in some manner or fashion. And so many people are trying to make drastic New Year's resolutions, right? And in magic in general, I have found meditations that absolutely do help us to improve ourselves and become the individuals we would like to be. And definitely within dragon magic. And tonight we're going to talk about one of those actual meditations using the Dragon's Eye seal. Now, I do have my Dragon's Eye seal that I burned. I hand burned it. Toward the end of this video, I'll make sure there is a seal up on the screen somewhere so you can pause and use that. I found out at our merch store, the people who actually make our seals, they discontinued the canvases without telling me. So I'm going to have to find a new way to do that. We do now have a Working Dragon Mystic community, and I'm going to try and make sure there is a downloadable PDF or something for the community for the Dragon's Eye seal. So if you need one or are looking for one, go over there, see if I've managed to get that up by the time this is on YouTube. Me and technology fight, but I'll do my best I can. Okay. I do think the stickers might still be available at the merch store. I actually bought one of the stickers myself, and I keep it inside my actual working grimoires. So that's an option, and that's actually relatively cheap if you want to try that. All right. Just wanted to go over that because you will need the Dragon's Eye seal to some extent. Now, we're going to talk about different levels of this meditation as well, because this meditation can be made very, very bare bones and simple, and it can actually be ramped up stronger. The process of the meditation remains simple. So in its simplest format, which is the main one we're going to focus on today, all you really need is the Dragon's Eye triangle, which for those who don't know, that would be this triangle dead center here. That little triangle right there. That is often known as a Dragon's Eye triangle. In a gemstone, it's even referred to as a Dragon's Eye cut. Okay. So you could just draw that. And if you wanted, you could put the alchemical symbols for salt, mercury, and sulfur around it. Easy to draw, easy to do, right? So those, you could go that simple. I do recommend having at least the Dragon's Eye triangle. Now, if you have the full Dragon's Eye seal, even better. Again, that's why we're going to make sure it's at the end of the video. So if nothing else, you can just go there, pause it, and use that because we need it as a gazing element. Okay. And at its bare bones, that is all you're going to need. Now, you could ramp this up a little bit by doing a Dragon's Flame ritual before the meditation. And in which case, now you are going to have all that energy from the Dragon's Flame ritual pumping into your meditation. Okay. That is perfectly fine. One of the reasons I say if you want to, I want to keep this simple. Okay. I have found simple meditations and simple magics actually create the biggest changes in our lives because little things over a long time add up to true change. And 99% of the time, if we try to manifest or create a drastic change instantaneously, either A, it just doesn't happen, or it doesn't stick. Like, even if you break an old habit instantaneously, you fall back to it quickly, right? Kind of concept. So we're going to keep this very, very simple. But we also need to be clear on what we're doing with this meditation. And in fact, this is a meditation that will work with any path. I don't care if you're Wiccan. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care if you're Norse. I don't care if you practice dragon magic. I don't care if you practice Solomanic magic. You could use this meditation with any of those, and you wouldn't even need the Dragon's Eye triangle if you don't want to use it. If you got an issue with the Dragon's Eye triangle for any reason, you could technically do this. I do find that this works best for me. I've had several friends who have tried it, even though they're Wicked. They found it works great. A few of them did try it with the pentagram. Some of them had varying results with the pentagram, which I actually found fascinating. But you could do this with any meditative practice if you wanted. The key here is what we're about to get into. So, most people, when we set a goal of some kind, um, we set a major jump, a major shift, a major change, right? So, let's take me, for example. I'm currently in the process of working to hit a weight goal. And I'd like to get back to my old training weight of about 250, right? I'd really like that. That'd be pretty freaking cool. Um, and if I get there, who knows? I may try to actually cut a bit more. We'll see. But that's a big change in my life. Like that would really be a massive and drastic change. So you could theoretically look at, I could visualize somebody who is in shape, working out, in fighting condition, 250. I could do that. However, that is a massive change from who I am to where I'm going. Okay. And in all likelihood, this is what happens with most people. And I'm not going to lie, this has happened to me a lot too when I've tried this in experiments. No matter how close you get to here, because you're not here, you lose focus and you end up thinking it's not working and you give up and you slip back. And sometimes people fall worse than where they started, which is a sad concept in itself. So instead, I want you to figure out what it is you want to change, what it is you want to improve. Okay. And if in my case, like let's say it is weight, if weight is my main focus, technically it's not. Weight is a measurement of health, but I'm actually working more focused on the conditioning. But that's a little more complex. I'm going to keep it a little simple here. So we're going to turn it into something simple like the weight. I want to get that weight off. And in all honesty, that probably is the better thing for me to focus on because the conditioning work will do better and be easier if the weight comes off, right? So any of the conditioning work I'm already doing is going to do better if I focus on that one thing, right? So with that in mind, I want to actually focus that meditation on improving myself and improving that number. But I want to work and improve it in a way that is quickly manifesting. Okay. Because this is a meditation you could do every day if you wanted. You could do it once a week if you wanted. You could do it several days a week if you wanted. I actually like to use meditations like this and wrap them in with my morning ritual. And I usually do this for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how my morning's going. Because honestly, you shaping your life to be who you want to be is one of the most important things. Like if getting to those goals, the kind of person you want to be, the kind of mage you want to be. So I love to do it at least 5 minutes every day. And there's times even when I need a screen break. I mean, I do this whole content creating stuff. I need a screen break. I need to look away from the computer. There's plenty of times during that when I'm ready to close my eyes or look away from the screen, I will do these meditations. So you can find plenty of times to do them. Now, grant you, if you're adding in the Dragon's Flame ritual, yeah, it can be a bit more to do it. And that's why, I start my morning rituals with the Dragon Flame ritual. So it is there. But if I do it midday, it's not there. Okay. So I will even do it in some occasions more than once a day. But it is very helpful. All right. Now, when I say easy, measurable goals, I want to focus on something that is measurable and direct and achievable. Now, for me, I know scientifically that water weight alone, your body can shift 2 to 5 pounds with water weight alone. Most people will say 2 pounds is always going to be water weight. So great, fine. So I'm going to start my bare number at a 5 point increment, right? So if you are, let's say, 300 pounds, you would want to set your base number at least 295. You could even go to 290, right? 290 is actually a good number. I would probably work in tens, personally speaking. And I'm just using random numbers here for y'all. And the reason is if I'm doing daily meditations, these meditations are going to be pushing me in that direction. It's going to be helping me to remember who I want to be. It's going to help build the ether around me, both in my conscious mind, my subconscious mind, and my energetic body to push me in that direction. These daily meditations keep me on track in that manner. And you can easily track and you can see yourself reaching that goal. And let's be honest, if you're 300 pounds, 10 pounds can be a lot. Like a lot of people struggle with that 10, but once it starts coming off, it comes off quickly. Okay. And I know it sounds crazy. If your goal is to get down somewhere like 250, why would you start there? Again, it's easier to achieve, it's quicker to achieve, and you're going to ride that momentum, right? So you would set it for 5 to 10 pounds. Again, I would recommend the 10 pounds. And you would use the daily meditations and push into that area, right? You want to see yourself as someone who is healthy and 290. That's kind of the concept. That's what you want to focus on. You don't need an image of yourself. You don't need to care what you're going to look like at. You just want to be healthy 290, healthy 290, right? Okay. The whole concept is that small change. Now, that's for weight. Let's say you want to build confidence. Same thing. Just build a little bit of confidence each day. And on the meditations, tell yourself you are going to act more confident today than you did yesterday. That small increment of daily confidence turning up, that tiny little thing. This one's actually a little easier to do than the weight loss because it's just naturally there. Here's the kicker, though. These meditations, as you're pulling that ether to you to build your confidence, you're also pulling opportunities to show yourself and the world that that is you. Okay? So if you're building confidence, be on the lookout for those areas where you can actually stand in that confidence, whether it's make a decision. I mean, it may sound simple, but how many of us have been asked, what show do you want to watch? I don't know. I mean, even if we're given an option of, hey, would you rather watch this or this? I don't know. Make a decision. Take the opportunity to make that decision and make it confidently. Um, it can be something as simple as that, but daily applying it as you do these meditations is going to reinforce and cultivate that. Okay. You can also do this for prosperity. Now, with the prosperity, yes, you want to be somebody who's developing savings. You want to be somebody who's spending wisely. Meditate on those things. Meditate on how you spend your money. How is that money going out? How do you handle your money? Are you somebody that spends money well? Okay. And how can you better your spending? Okay. So the first thing is to pick that thing, right? If it's prosperity, great. Lock that in. That's going to be the background of everything else you do there in this meditation. If it's weight loss, background to everything you do this meditation. Confidence, background to everything else we do this meditation. House cleaning, background to everything else you do this meditation. Do better in school. That is the background to everything we do in this meditation. And when I say background, I mean that is our box. Okay. Everything else we're putting in that box. Everything else should associate and belong in this box, right? So when I sit down and I do this meditation, you're going to use the seal as the gazing point for the meditation. You want to relax your eyes. You can close your eyes after a minute or two of staring at the seal if that's more comfortable for you. If gazing at a sigil or a seal gets uncomfortable after a few minutes, that's fine. Give yourself 30 seconds to 60 seconds of gazing at least, and then close your eyes. Okay. And what I want you to do, start with the box, start with the main concept. Okay. So if you want to reach that goal of 290, okay, I want you to sit down and I want you to gaze at your dragon's eye seal. We'll do this so y'all can see it. I want you to gaze dead center, right there, dead center at the center point of that dragon's eye triangle. Okay, dead center. That's where I want you gazing, right there. And I want you to focus first and foremost on what it is your main goal is to become. And remember, we're doing small increments. We're going up a set of stairs. We're not jumping a building in a single bound. Okay. And I want you to just gaze at that for a moment. Deep breath. Take in a deep breath as deep as you can. And as you breathe in, really focus on that concept that you're trying to embody with yourself. Okay. Really focus on it. Breathe out. Now you can use square breathing, which is where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds. I personally just like good, solid, deep breathing. Just breathe in as deep as you can. Good, hearty, full breath. Hold it for a second or two. Breathe out fully. This is really going to get your blood pumping, get oxygen moving through your blood. It's going to waken up all those neurons in your brain. Really great for meditative and trance states. Now, I'm focusing on that, getting to that 290 marker, right? That's what I'd be focusing on. After you say, let's say you take anywhere from 5 to 10 breaths focused on that main goal, the box, as we called it, right? That box. The next thing I want you to do is ask yourself, what can I do today to reach my goal? What can I do today? Well, in the case of the 290, let's look at what you eat. That's usually the first and easiest one. Like you've always heard the phrase, you can't outrun a bad diet, right? And if you're living on pizza rolls, pizza pockets, and those kinds of things, that's probably a bad thing. So how can you make adjustments to lower your calories, eat healthier, whatever it may be, right? I'm not a health coach, so I'm not going to get into all that, but what are the healthy choices you can make in your foods today? What can you do? How can you adjust it? Can you take your lunch instead of going to McDonald's? All those little tiny things. It sounds stupid, but not only are you going to be thinking about it during the meditation, the reason we're using the dragon's eye, the reason we're gazing at it is to tap into that draconic current for inspiration and guidance as well. So you're going to have natural thoughts, natural ideals pop in your brain about how you might actually help you get there. You're also going to be using the etherical current to actually literally pull you toward the goal that you're visualizing, because you're not visualizing, I want to lose weight. You're literally going to be visualizing, I want to be 290. Right? You're trying to literally create this thing. And if you do that, take a few minutes. Again, we're only going to do maybe 10 breaths on this first choice, this first option. What can you do today? Take 10 good breaths, focus on it. We're not going to be very long time on this. We want it to be quick. We want it to be easy. We want it to be doable. Real quick and easy. Breathe in, breathe out. What are some choices you can do diet-wise? Okay, got it. Move on. Breathe in, breathe out, move on. What are the next thing? Well, the next thing is usually physical activity. Most people this day and age don't do a lot. I know when I was younger, all my jobs were very physically active. So I never had to have a workout routine because I was always physically active at work, right? So what are some things you could do? Like if you do sit at a desk, what are things you could do? You could set a timer for every hour to 2 hours where you get up, do 10 or 15 squats and 10 or 15 push-ups. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about it, every 2 hours during an 8-hour shift at work, 10 or 15 squats and push-ups, not a lot, but it's going to give a lot more strength training to your muscles than you get just sitting in your chair. And it adds up throughout the day. And for those who's like, well, I can't do a push-up. Not an issue. If you can't do a push-up, do a wall push-up. Seriously. If that is the best you can do, do it. It is progress. That is something small and tiny that you can do. If you got really, really bad knees, my knees used to be so bad I couldn't do a squat. Okay, I've been working on healing my body using the very techniques I teach you all here, like this meditation. And I used to not be able to do a squat because my knees would creak, crack, and they were just shot. I could not get up. There's a few doctors who even considered putting me in a wheelchair. They were surprised I wasn't there yet. And they're even more surprised now that I'm getting around as well as I am. But if you're in that condition, do literally do stand-ups from like a chair or someplace. Like if you're in just an office chair, just sit in it, stand up, sit in it, stand up. If that's the best you can do, that's the best you can do. Whatever your limits, if you can't stand at all, that's fine and dandy. Find something you can do, even if it's just your arms, right? Um, and again, you want to keep it quick, you want to keep it simple. We don't want to spend all day in this meditation thinking on it. Oh, what am I going to do? I can't do that. I can't jog. I can't. We just want to take 10 breaths worth of time, ask that question, what can I do today to reach my goal? And straight to it. Okay. Now, if you can get within your 5-minute window, if you can get 3 questions, that's freaking fantastic. If all you can do is get 2, that's okay. No issues. If you can get more than 3, great. I would not go past 5 questions. I really wouldn't. And if you're taking those deep breaths, I don't think you'd get to 5 anyway if you're genuinely doing deep breathing. I really don't. Because that's 50 deep breaths. And that can take a time. If you're sitting there with a stopwatch, that can actually take 5 minutes. But 2 to 3 questions, that's all you really need. Don't overcomplicate it. Resist the urge to overcomplicate. Keep it simple. This meditation, and I know it sounds crazy, this meditation works best when you keep it simple. Okay? When you keep it simple, it really does work best. So you want 2 to 3 questions of what you can do today to work toward your goal. And it may be the same answers every day. You may mix it up daily. You don't know. But during this meditation, the reason we want to keep it simple also, not only does it work best, but that frees you up to listen to the insight part of the meditation. As that information comes to you, as inspiration comes to you, right? And it may sound silly, it may sound stupid, but I have noticed many entities love using social media to get knowledge to you. When the meditation ends, don't think it's over, because inevitably when I start meditating on something, it starts showing up in my social media feed. Now, this is important because I've tested this personally. And a lot of people's like, well, that's just the advertising. They're always in there listening on us, Illuminati. Yeah, okay, they do listen. I'll agree. But I have literally tested this by taking several months where I quickly swap what I'm meditating on. And I never say it verbally. Never say it verbally. Ever. I never say anything about it around anything electronic. All my notes are written. I am completely mute on the entire thing. And it still happens. So to me, that goes beyond just the electronic devices listening and advertising to you. That is the spirits using the tools available in my daily life to say, hey, did you think about this? Hey, consider looking at this, if that makes sense. Okay, keep it simple. Now, in practice, what would that look like? That would literally look like you getting your seal, you gazing at it. You take that initial focus of improvement and just right? That was 3 deep breaths. Now we're wanting to do 5 minutes of those. Now, if we do just 2 questions, that would be 30 breaths, right? And that would be the first 10 breaths would be us focus on the initial question. Like I said, if you're trying to lose weight, it's that initial short step. We want to keep that first step short. If you're, like I said, my goal would be 250. Doesn't matter. I would only move it in 5 to 10 pound increments. Okay. If your goal is confidence, fine. You want to be a more confident person today than you were yesterday. The first question, what can I do today as I go through my day that would make me a more confident person, that would develop confidence in me. If you can't think of anything, let the meditation guide you. Seriously, let the meditation guide you. You will find inspiration. You will find opportunities presented to you to be confident. The biggest thing I would say if you're building confidence or something like that is not only to focus on confidence, but focus on noticing and seizing the opportunity to be confident when it arrives in your life. One of the biggest things with something like confidence, we often are so used to not being confident, we don't see those opportunities pop up in our life. And if we do see them, we recoil from them. So one of your questions might be, how do I see those better? How can I identify those easily? That would be a great question to add to yours for confidence. The next question would be, how do I seize it? How do I make sure I seize it without having a panic attack? Those might be the questions you ask, and you seek those answers during the meditation and gain that wisdom. This is where a little bit of creativity comes in, and this is where it is going to get a little different for everyone. Now, if you practice dragon magic, absolutely, you could definitely take this meditation. Not only could you do the dragon's flame ritual and then do the meditation, but you could also do this meditation, go throughout your day, and then talk to one of the dragons, or talk to your co-magician, or talk to your guardian dragon. Have them help you throughout the day to also see these. If you're practicing dragon magic, you have a guardian. Get them to help you identify those positions. Get them to help you see those opportunities. Get them to give you the confidence to stand up for yourself. Same thing with the co-magician, right? You could absolutely do that. If you practice Norse magic, you could absolutely get Thor, Odin, Freya, even Loki. All of them could help you to do this. Even Tyr could help you with that. Like I said, you can layer this to make it as simple or as complicated as you want. At its core, you just need that dragon's eye triangle. Like I said, that gazing point. If you wanted to use a different gazing point, you could. I know an individual, he's Christian. He uses a cross. He has great success with it. And I have no issues with that. I just want you all to be the best you can be. Okay? That is it. So, I know this has been slightly convoluted, but I know meditation videos can be tricky. But most of my viewers don't want to sit for 10 minutes and watch me breathe, right? I mean, you don't want me to stop breathing because you tend to like the videos. If I stop breathing, we don't have videos. But just to sit here and do the meditation, that's just boring, let's be honest. Everyone here would be skipping through that. So I will make sure at the end of this video to get the dragon's eye seal up. And for those at the community, I'm going to get a image up at the community for you all to use as well. Because we use the dragon's eye seal so much here at Working Dragon Mystic, might as well have something that you all can use easily there. And for the one at the end of the video, just pause it and use it straight on your phone or YouTube if you want. Nothing wrong with that. And if you find it at the community and you want to screenshot it and put it on your phone, you can do that. Like I used to have the dragon's eye seal on my phone. I currently don't. I don't know why I don't, but so you can easily have it so you can pop it up on your phone, save it as a wallpaper on your computer, whatever. You know how it goes. I'm not too picky about that. Or you can draw it. And that's fine too. This one I wood burned. I absolutely did. I drew it on a piece of paper and then wood burned through the paper to get this. And I keep that in my working area quite often. All right, so if you have any questions, whether you're at the community or whether you are watching this on YouTube or Rumble, feel free to drop the question below. I'll do my best to help you because I know some topics, like the building confidence one, the question part can get tricky. And I will do my best to ask. If you're in the community, ask me in the community. I'd love to have that conversation with everyone in the community. Let's talk about it. Let's help each other figure out those questions. I'm not going to say I know the answer to every question. I don't, but I will help you brainstorm. I will do the best I can to help you brainstorm. And also, if you are watching this live as we record this in the community, we will be taking questions on this immediately after we stop recording. And if you're interested in joining us for those live conversations after the Working Dragon Mystic topics, seeing all topics early, weeks early, in fact. Check us out at workingdragonmystic.com. Click the little tab that says online community. It'll shoot you right over to our online community, or you'll find links below. It's absolutely free. There is a section for supporters. Supporters do get a lot of great perks: monthly spell working, access to workshops, live workshops where they get to work with me. They get full access to all of my online courses to work at their own pace, and much, much more. We got a lot of cool things coming up in the future. In fact, that New Year's, we're going to be starting a 6-month deep dive path working for self-mastery, self-empowerment, as well as part of that path working is going to be teaching how anyone can make their own path working basically out of anything, if they really wanted to. So if you're interested in that, check us out, join the community, become a supporter. If you just want to join the community for free and eavesdrop on the conversations or join in on the conversations, check us out there. All right. And I will make sure to get that Dragon's Eye seal up here somewhere. Until then, everybody, you have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.